Can you all hear me in the back, or do I need to speak a little? Okay, turn it up. Thank you so much. My name is Anna Cooper. I am a member of the Eta Phi Sigma chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and I bid you all welcome. I would like to have you just stay in the room to see all the beautiful ladies of Sigma and our beautiful Roar and her mother who have accompanied us here today. Ladies, wave your hand. All right. Okay, so again, as I said before, this is a very important topic. I work also in the mental health field as a licensed mental health counselor. I work with an agency as well as doing some private practice. And so, you know, we're seeing more and more issues with mental health in the news. We see it in our communities. And it's definitely something I'm glad that's getting more and more attention, because we definitely need to address this and make sure the needs are being met. And so, so that's why we, decided, hey, we need to make sure we're making an impact in our community doing the same. So this is our first, and we look to build upon. So we definitely will look for any feedback at the end, just to be able to help us to build from here. So what we have laid out is some food for everyone, because we know that's always good, right? Mm-hmm. People can put something on their stomach, and then we have some wonderful speakers that are here with us today. We have Ms. Delora Rollins, who is a licensed mental health counselor. Could you raise your hand first? And we also have Dr. Kenyatta Hills here as well. Thank you all for coming. So we're going to go ahead.
This is find someone who. So as we're sitting and we're talking and we're fellowshipping, start asking some questions. So one of the questions, and this is going to be played in the same way as you play bingo. So across, down, diagonal, but as you're eating, start having a conversation. Okay, we're going to find someone who played in a band. So say if Deidre played in a band, just write Deidre on that. Find someone who had a baby this year, or find someone who drives a minivan. So as you're eating, go ahead and start fellowshipping. You may have to get up and interact, which is good for your mental health. So as you're eating,
find a pen.
Go through the activity and see if you can find someone who. And then once you find them, thank you, Deidre. There you go. Once you find them, then you can call out bingo. And in your bags, in each of your gift bags is a pen. So if you don't have a pen, just look in your gift bag. There should be a pen in each one of those. Get bingo, just call it out.
Wait a minute. You're ran on there?
Do I look?
I played in Miami.
Okay, wait a minute. What you got?
I got Empress is a teenager, 13 and 19.
Okay.
My mom has a gym membership.
Okay.
Priscilla knows a foreign language.
Okay.
Elena has a birthday in May.
Did you get any video?
And
Nope, I
is that's BW.
didn't. I love y'all too. Happy birthday, dear Maybe. Happy birthday to you, and many more.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? Yes. I don't talk that loud. So my name is Delora Rollins. I am a licensed mental health counselor. I've been licensed for the last 12 years, but I've been working in the field for the last 20. I am currently the program manager at Meridian, one of the mobile response teams, and I'm just starting out in private practice. So the name of my private practice is LifeSpring Counseling Services. It's going to be primarily online for now. So a little backstory. I grew up in a little town named Chattahoochee, Florida in the early 80s and 90s. And if anyone knows anything about Chattahoochee, you know it houses the largest state facility for mental health. But as a child, you would hear war stories from the state hospital, but you wouldn't really think much of it because we were a child, so we just listened and kind of in passing went on. And then as adults we talk, well, backtrack. In the 80s, we all know that it was kind of taboo to talk about anything that was going on in the family. So any mental health issues, any maternity issues, anything like that, that was taboo. But you would always hear stuff like, well, that's just Bobby. You know, he's crazy. He has hell in him. He needs to go to church. He needs to pray and stay out the streets. You would hear stuff like that. And it wasn't until my undergrad year when I decided to major in psychology that the light bulb finally came on. So I started thinking about my hometown and some of the main characters that you would kind of see every day. I can recall the brother that used to sit at the gas station every day, and he would always have a beer in his hand day after day. Every time he went down there, he was drunk, he had a beer. He later on died from liver disease. But in my studies, I realized, you know, he was suffering from substance abuse, and he probably could have benefited from substance abuse therapy. And then we had a sister that would walk around town. She would push her lawnmower, it had no motor in it, and talk to herself. Later on, I realized she was schizophrenic and would have benefited from medication.
Mental health, you know, you don't want to talk about it. And we definitely need to talk about it because it's happening. And I'm so happy that you shared those different examples of what it can show up looking like. Absolutely. And so the more we talk about it, the less the stigma is there, and then people will come out and will seek the services. And the telehealth that is available, I'm so happy. I hate that COVID happened, but I'm so happy that people see that they can access the service in other ways. And, okay, so we're going to move along here, and we're going to have Dr. Kenyatta Hills come before us and share.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. I don't know why I want to laugh. Okay. You know, a little nervous, but I don't know why, because I teach all the time. All right. My name is Dr. Kenyatta Hills, and I'm from a small town called Flora Home. Flora Home is in Putnam County, off of 100. Go through Putnam Hall, only way to Palatka. That's where I'm from. But I was raised in Tampa, though. But I want to piggyback off of a lot of the points that Ms. Rollins brought up about mental health in our community. Not just in our community, but in our families. Everyone has had that uncle that was in the family, but at the family functions, he's in the house. Don't talk to Uncle Pete. I'm going to say Uncle Pete off the movie. Soul food. Don't talk to Uncle Pete. Fix Uncle Pete his plate and let him be. We thinking, okay, that's just Uncle Pete. Everybody know he's been like that for years, but not realizing maybe he have been through some type of trauma with going to war, or even just living his life and not being able to handle the pressures that life gives us. You know, it happens with the brain, and things just happen. Now, who all are on, not putting your business out there, but I'm included, who all takes antidepressants or anything like that, or anything for anxiety? Me too. Me too. And I just want to say, I wanted to point that out for me. If I can be a doctor and get my education and still go through my madness episodes with anxiety and things of that nature, anybody can. So whenever I speak about mental health, I make sure to say, y'all see me up here. I may look normal, I may talk normal, but everybody just got that little piece of what you say, the devil in them. But I just look at it as a superpower. When my anxiety kicks in, I know I need to sit down. I know I need to take a walk. If I get, you saw my hand up when you said at work, I know I need to take a walk just to ground myself. And a coping process that I learned while working on my second master's is emotional intelligence. But I was working on my second master's in human resources, so they were teaching us to learn how to use emotional intelligence from a leadership position in order to control our employees when you're having a difficult topic to talk about. controlling their emotions by using your emotions. So if you're cool, then you can talk them into being cool as well. So a few things about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a coping process, I'm gonna call it process, that is used in business in order to win over your subordinates or anybody else who works outside your department when it comes to how they feel, coercing them to feel how you feel about certain things. But I just want to point out the 4 main areas of emotional intelligence. You have self-awareness. Self-awareness is when you know about your oneness, who you are, what you are. And things that come to mind with self-awareness is know your story and how it affects you. Make peace with your past. Now, I want to backtrack. I'm not talking about emotional intelligence in the workplace right now. I want to be focused on how we can use that as a way to help us in our personal lives. I just want to point that out. So going back, self-awareness. Know your story and how it affects you. Make peace with your past. That's a hard thing for a lot of us to do, but you have to make peace. Know your beliefs, your emotions, and your behavior patterns. So that's going to take a lot of time of you spending time by yourself, journaling, and writing down how you feel. Why am I mad because my auntie always trying to tell me what to do? Why is that making me mad? Why is that striking a nerve? Know your relationship patterns, not just your relationship with yourself, but relationship with others. The next is self-management. That's learn skills for breathing and relaxation. One breathing and relaxation method I use whenever my anxiety is high is the 3-6-8 breathing method. No, 4-6-8 breathing method. What you do is you just breathe in regular for four counts. You hold your breath for 6 counts. Now what I do when I'm holding it, I'm telling myself, Kenyatta, relax your shoulders. That's the first thing I feel tense. Or relax your jaw. Or just relax your face. Just do a scan of your body while you're holding your breath for 6 counts. Then you release at a nice pace for 8 counts. And you can actually feel your body relaxing, or whatever was tight in your chest is now alleviating itself. So that's something that you can learn to do for self-management. Complete your basic emotional healing work like journaling, praying, meditating, going, walking, grounding yourself outside, getting some sunlight. Maintain healthy eating and exercise. That's something that I'm hung up on. The healthy eating and the exercise. But I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. And just remember, emotional intelligence is something that you have to practice every day. I practice it every day. Every day. That's if you want it to work, because it's a program. You got to work the steps. The third area of emotional intelligence is understanding nonverbal and social signals. And again, this brings me back to a memory I had when I was teaching at Bethune-Cookman. And one of the students, he was wide open about his mental health. He said, Dr. Hills, I wasn't able to get my medication. I might be scurrying around here, but I'm no danger. I said, okay. He went through his motions. He let me know I ain't feeling good. You could see a look on his face. But what I was paying attention to, I wasn't worried about what he was saying. I was looking at his nonverbal, because not only am I responsible for all the other students' safety in the classroom, I got to make sure I stay on point as well. And that's the time that you can think about putting your own emotions in check when you know somebody else is off level. Develop a positive view of others. This is still under social awareness. Understand basic human emotional needs, and understand games and personal integrity. Our last section of emotional intelligence, the fourth, is relationship management. And under that, you develop skills to reflect listening as well as learning what empathy is and how to incorporate it. Learn skills for healthy assertiveness. Assertiveness with people that you are in a relationship, maybe a relationship with, maybe at work. You don't want to be so assertive that it turns them off, but I call it positive assertive, where you can motivate them and things of that nature. Learn conflict resolution skills. The number one conflict resolution skills I use is to listen and watch. listen and watch before you start talking, especially with people that have mental health issues, because again, you got to pay attention to those nonverbal cues of what's going on. So it's best to listen and watch, and observe rather. And then the last point under relationship management is develop skills for support and affirmations of others. Now, I have my own coaching business where I coach individuals on how to implement employee satisfaction. Lord have mercy. I'm a business professor too. I have no idea why I said that. But emotional intelligence. So I coach individuals on emotional intelligence. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes they try to add some business stuff in there, but that's all right. But emotional intelligence on how they can incorporate those 4 areas into their life. Self-management, relationship management, and things of that nature. So one of the questionnaires that I use with my clients when they first start, I use a quiz to check on their emotional awareness, their emotional management, their social emotional awareness, and relationship management. So a few questions that I would ask them, well, that's asked on the questionnaire for emotional awareness is, my feelings are clear to me at any given moment. If you really think about that question, if you were to participate in this program, you're going to have to really dig and think. When has my feelings always been clear to me? Has it been any time where I'm having invasive thoughts that is knocking my focus off on what I'm thinking? Am I easily be distracted? Because that can be signs of ADHD or anything like that. So that's a question. Another question under emotional awareness is, my moods are easily affected by external events. Now, if that's the case, then in our coaching, we would have to really, really focus on your your personal awareness, your self-awareness, so that you wouldn't be impacted by any external events that may be triggers for you. That's how I'm gonna say that. Moving on to emotional management, so managing your emotions. Am I a very patient person? That's an easy question. Some people can be patient with certain things, but overall they're not very patient. So that's an issue, that's something that you can work on. The next is, can I restrain myself when I feel anger towards someone? That's another good question to ask yourself. The next is under social emotional awareness. One question that you could, that's on here is, I sense it when a person's mood changes. Again, you got to be observant and have an understanding of who you are around and their nonverbal cues. And then the next question under social emotional relationship is, my friends can tell me intimate things about themselves. That's another question. And then under, I don't want to talk because they may answer. What you talking about? Who was that lady you called? Who that lady talking in the background? All right, I just like to cut jokes every now and then. And then under relationship management, am I able to show affection? Some of us, everybody's raised differently. Some people are raised in a house full of love, and some people are raised in a life full of survival. And those individuals who are born in the family where they are taught to survive, can't trust anyone and things of that nature, sometimes they have a hard time showing affection and even accepting affection. And that has a lot to do with someone trying to learn how to implement those 4 steps of emotional intelligence into their lives, especially when it comes to building relationships with others or even loving yourself. And that's it for me. My name is Dr. Hills, and I really enjoy speaking with you guys and sharing knowledge on emotional intelligence. Yes, sir.
I have one question, Doctor. Can you give us a real quick example on your second bullet about how letting go of the past and that kind of thing? Can you give us a quick example?
Oh, Lord. I can only speak from experience. I'm going to give you guys an example from myself of forgiveness. Your parents, And I'm speaking for, I don't have children, but I have a niece and a nephew and they're like mine. Children see their parents differently than what their parents see themselves. A lot of times children forget or they don't understand. I'm gonna say they don't understand because I didn't understand until about 2 or 3 years ago when I actually got into forgiving my father. As a child, we are taught this fantasy of our mother is supposed to kiss us and bake us cookies, or our dad is supposed to tell us that he loves us before the first man, or our dads is supposed to show us love that we are supposed to get from men. I never experienced that. I experienced that from my granddaddy. He was old school. As long as you got a roof over your head, food to eat, and all of that, you all right with Charlie. But he was not an affectionate man to teach me how to interact in a relationship. And I know I'm putting my business out there, but I know I'm not the only one. So I went through a stage of journaling and understanding that some people bring children into the world. That don't mean they have to be a father. And me as his child, I had to do away with that fantasy of what a daddy is supposed to do or supposed to be to me, and just see him as a person, living life just like me. You understand? Going through his ups and downs, going through his trials and tribulations, and whatever he still got going on, it still impacts our relationship, but I forgive him. Because the way that life is, oh my goodness. And then be responsible for children, oh my, that's another layer. And then he has his own mental health issues as well. So I had to put that into the equation.
Okay.
Because if the shoe was on the other foot, because every mother who bring in children aren't mothers.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes from stories I've heard, women can have children and just lose the mother feel of them. Like, okay, I'm done. A child may feel like, well, Takara mama love on her, she sit on her mama lap, my mama don't do that. Your mama going through something. And that's why it's important that we as a community of black people, I'm not gonna say African Americans, black people, we have to be open about our mental health issues that go on in our family. I suffer from anxiety really, really, really bad. And I never went through anything traumatic, but I know for a fact something through my bloodline that one of my ancestors has experienced, and us as black people know we done experienced a whole lot that we don't talk about. And we know our ancestors sure ain't gonna talk about it. And it trickled on down through the bloodline, and now I'm here to, this is how I feel, I'm here to figure it out for future generations and implement emotional intelligence in raising children when I get them. I try to do my best with my niece and my nephew, but that's my niece right there. It works, but sometimes it doesn't work. But you know how big auntie is. But seriously, I have talks with her whenever I'm going through my emotional stuff. This is what y'all going through. I call it my nerves on edge. That's the black people way to do it. Yaya in the room closed up, her nerves on edge. Yaya's dealing with her anxiety and depression, and she's just trying to get those invasive thoughts together. And that's why I voice that to them, because ain't no shame in my game. Y'all come from me, and I'm a part of y'all, so I know eventually you're going to be feeling this way. And you can say, well, Yaya was open about hers. Let me talk to her so she can listen to me. Because just because you don't went through stuff, a lot of times people don't want to hear a lecture. They want to know that you care and you listen. Right. Even when I be going through my episodes, she'll sit right there, her and my nephew, and they'll sit there and listen. You all right, Yaya? I'll be all right. You want something to drink? Care and love is what helps bring me out that hole, the rabbit hole. But I'm sorry, I know I digress, but still, my answer is parents go through stuff, and we just got to give them grace.
But I go by Z. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a practice in Ocala. I'm so honored to be here. I thank Ayana for just the vision. This month, of course, is mental health awareness, and it's so needed in our community. So I am the founder of a private practice called Grace Behavioral Health. We're in Ocala and also virtual. And then I have a nonprofit that is a ministry that God has given me. And we focus on educating our Black community about mental health and faith so that we, again, reduce the stigma of mental health. And so that is my heartbeat. That is the thing that I am called to do. So I'm so happy to be here just to talk to you guys for a few minutes kind of along those issues. And I'm going to be transparent and just share some things that I've experienced as well. And I find that in private practice, we are viewed as helping professionals. And when we're able to be transparent, just as the previous speaker was, it helps our patients feel less isolated. About 95% of my patients are Black women of color. I absolutely love that for us. When we think about, generations, like I'm a millennial, but we think about my parents' generation, there was no such thing as mental health, right? And so if we even think about African American culture and our experience as far as the church, it was a place of worship, it was a place of fellowship, it was our political voice. We trusted our leaders, we trusted our pastors, and so that is still today. Research tells us that people reach out to their leaders when they're having issues in their lives. And so we do a lot of things well when it comes to the church, but there is some things that we need to work on. And so how we address mental health is one of those things. So I'm happy to be able to serve in that capacity. And so going back to my patient population, so if I think about my younger, like Gen Z patients, I enjoy working with them because they come ready. They are very self-aware. They'll say, Z, I got attachment issues, I got mommy issues, I got daddy issues, I got rejection issues. My generation, a lot of times we have children that might be graduating from high school, going to college. Then we also may have parents that might be aging, and we might be in the middle trying